welcome back to the channel, and today I want to try to use the new logic and see if I can figure out how to create a rechargeable ammo system. So the idea is that it'd probably be more applicable to things like bombers, but we could also do it for guns like this, but I think it'd be a little bit harder. But the idea is that you have a limited amount of ammo to use, and after you've used that ammo, you cannot fire again until you fly back to your home base and either land or just kind of like do a low flyby, essentially recharging your ammo. This is something I don't know what it's like nowadays, but back when I played Battlefield 2, this is how you had to recharge your bombs after doing bombing runs in the plains. So I think that could be kind of fun. Now, there's no way that I can particularly make it that you have to be back at your particular home base. It's just going to be a low ground flyby because I'm going to be using a sensor. But if you're doing this in multiplayer, you could just be like, you got to use your home base as the trigger for your sensor. So I want to start off by trying the bombing version. So I'm going to get rid of this gun and put some bomb things on here. Been a while since I've used bomb bays. All right, so I got some bomb bays on here hooked into my fire button. So when I click the button, you can see that they will automatically recharge. And then once that little symbol is recharged, I can just keep dropping bombs. But what if I only wanted one bomb pass per flight? Oh my goodness, that was pretty epic. All right, so I just realized this plane's kind of small. So I don't have a lot of room for logic stuff. Hopefully I don't need too much. But these bomb bays are gonna have to be activated by logic. So I'm gonna remove my input, and I'm going to have an accumulator. And this accumulator, because we're doing the bombs, is gonna be steps. We're gonna do 0. Let's go -1. We're gonna have this in the negative because visually I think it'll look better. So now when I click to fire, this is what happens. There we go. And I'm actually gonna flip it in this direction because to me, I see left as empty. So when I click, you can see it's empty. If this is empty, the bombs cannot trigger. That's gonna be what I need to set up, but I don't know yet. I have to figure it out. I need to figure out how to reset. What am I gonna do to reset this? All right, you know what? Let's worry about the resetting afterwards. First, I need to make sure that this thing actually prevents the bombs from firing, but allows them to fire once. This is gonna be my weapon logic gate here. So this is left click. So we want that to happen. We'll go into the AND gate, but we also want this to be off. So we want to negate that, which is where the new NOR gate is going to be useful. So the accumulator goes into the NOR gate, which then goes into the AND gate. All right, so here's our source. Then we got communulator going into the NOR gate, going into the AND gate. And then this AND gate is what triggers these. So now I don't know if this is going to happen because this accumulator is going to activate at the same time. Okay, so that does prevent me from dropping my bombs. So here's a concern. The way I could get around that is by adding a delay of like 0.01 to this, I think. So I actually have to let these recharge first. Maybe I didn't do that. All right, so they drop, and now when it recharges, you see they're active, but when I press the button, nothing happens. Now let me see if I don't have the delay on here and I actually wait for them to charge. Do they still drop? Yeah, there we go. And then drop. They do still drop. Okay. And then now they will not drop. So that's good. Because if you have a delay, you can exploit that by just doing the input fast enough so that the delay, you don't actually press it long enough for the delay to trigger, and then you essentially don't get the recharge function. All right, so now I need to figure out how to reset this, which obviously I'm going to need a sensor to detect when I go over my carrier. All right, so we got a distance sensor. Let's say we got to be like 10 meters. I don't know how big 10 meters is compared to this scale of this carrier. So this sensor, I think, should put a negative output into the accumulator. I think that's all you got to do, because the accumulator is set to have a negative scale. So that negative output is then converted into a positive, which essentially goes in the other direction of the depletion, so it fills up. So here we go. I have just used my bombs. I cannot use any more bombs. See, that accumulator is red, but if I fly over, am I close enough? I don't know if the sensor, there we go. Now I can fire again. Yeah, so you see I can't fire right now. And now I can fire. Well, that was actually surprisingly easy to do with the bombs. So here's another thing I could do. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh. This actually not necessarily. All right, I need to figure out a way to do this. So this has got a lot more complicated. What if I wanted 2 sets of bombs? What if I wanted 2 ammo? Because right now I click once, I do a bomb drop, and I'm done. What if I wanted to be able to click twice? In which case, I would want the maximum to be -2. Because now, when I click once... Or hold on, let me remove the sensor to prevent it from auto-resetting. All right, so now when I click once, you can see the accumulator goes halfway. Oh, interesting. So that actually doesn't work the way I want. So I wanted this to only turn off if it is full, but it turns off as soon as it has any negative. In which case, we want to go 1 is the maximum, and then -1 is the minimum. But then when I click, it goes negative. All right, this is definitely more complicated. Maybe the accumulator isn't the block to do this. Maybe I need like an arithmetic block. Here, what is the accumulator output? Have the accumulator go into the number display. All right, so we got -1. Okay, there we go. All right, now we can actually simplify things a little bit more. We can use math blocks. So the accumulator is really easy to do if you just want 1 ammo. But now I'm gonna switch it to just be a normal scale. And now our maximum, now we can input our ammo here. So let's say we want 3 shots. There we go. So now when I press the button once, it goes to 1. When I press the button twice, it goes to 2. When I press the button a 3rd time, it goes to 3. Now the only problem with this is I can press those buttons as many times, as frequently as I want, and it's going to add, but the bombs themselves have a recharge. So if I press all 3 buttons before the bombs recharge, I don't get any of those extra shots. I waste those shots. So is there a way for me to set like a cooldown that equals the bomb bay? Yes, there is. This is getting complicated. This is getting really complicated, but all this stuff is possible. It just requires a lot more logic gates. All right, so I'm gonna remove, oh wait, maybe duration? If I do a duration of 3 seconds, and I click, nope, it does not work. All right, so I don't quite know yet how I would be able to do a user-friendly thing where they cannot click more than once per cooldown. You would have to essentially negate the input from triggering the accumulator for a designated amount of time, which I think there's a way to do it using like these delay and duration things, but everything I'm thinking of isn't quite working yet. So let's not make it that complicated yet. So basically, this accumulator outputs a number every single time you click. 1, 2, 3. We set it at 3 for now. So we can use the comparison logic gate. So the threshold would then be the same, 3. So the accumulator would go into the comparison logic gate and not into the NOR gate. Now the comparison logic gate goes into the NOR gate. Because 1, 2, 3. No, hold on. I got confused. Oh, wait. I forgot to set the actual comparison mode. We want it to be equals. Yeah, so now we can fire. There's 1. Let's let it recharge. There's 2. So now when this next one happens, the 3 will trigger the comparison logic gate, which will then turn off the NOR gate. There's 3. So now when I try to fire 1 more, it no longer works. So now the question becomes, how do I reset the accumulator? Because before, the distance sensor was just sending an input to the accumulator, and right now it's in the steps mode, which works really, really well for this 1, 2, 3 ammo thing. But then this will essentially recharge a single shot at a time. So I would have to go over the carrier for every shot I wanted to recharge. How do I make it so that it recharges? Oh, I know how. We use more arithmetic logic. All right, this isn't quite as simple as I thought, because I figure with the arithmetic logic, we can have it just output when the distance sensor triggers, it'll just output a 3, which is our ammo. But this is a constant output, so it'll always be outputting that, which would essentially get rid of everything that we're doing. So how do I have that only work? But then I was like, okay, so then let's have it go into an AND gate, and it only activates at a certain trigger, but then this AND gate only sends an output of maximum 1. So this is going to override the output of the arithmetic gate. But the arithmetic gate is always on. So how do I have the arithmetic gate not be on when I don't want it to be on? How do I have it output a designated value that I want only when I want it to do it? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Multiply, maybe. If I set it to multiply, then if it's not receiving an input, yeah, if it's not receiving an input, it'll be 0. The output will be 0 because anything multiplied by 0 is 0. But then once it receives the 1 from the positive signal, then whatever this constant is will be the output. Am I right there? All right, let's use a new number display. So this is going to go to the number display. So this receives an input from the distance sensor. And is that going to be 3? So it is receiving a 3. But if the distance sensor is off, so let's just move it to the top of my vehicle, should be 0. Yes! So it's either 0 or 3. All right, let's see if this actually works now. So this is going to go into the accumulator. All right, so if I fire once, oh, now nothing's working. Oh no, it needs to be negative. Constant -3, because I reversed it. So now when I'm up in the air, we have 1. Okay, this is the real test right here. Did this work? We got 2. There we go. We got 3. I'm gonna start turning around towards the carrier. Now can I fire anymore? No, I'm clicking. I cannot fire. Let's see what happens here. There we go. And now we've got 1. There it is. We are good. It goes back to 0 every single time. So now I think I could also have it where you can recharge. You could have it recharge a designated amount of shots. So there we go. Now let's try this. So now if I just set whatever I set this number as, this is the amount of shots it'll recharge. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3. All right, so now when I fly over, I should only get 1 shot back. That 3 should go down to a 2. There we go. All right, so now when I fire, I got that 1 shot, and now I can't fire anything else. So now if I wanted to recharge multiple times, I'd have to go like this. There's 1. I could like dive back down. There's 2. And then I'd have to go back around for my last shot. Oh, there we go. There's 3. I managed to survive that. All right, this is actually like first time using parts like these really, and it's kind of intuitive. I'm getting there. Now I do still have the thing where once I recharge all 3 shots, I gotta set it back to just a full recharge. The one at a time is kind of annoying. There we go. I got all 3. So what I could do is this: click, click, click. Now I've fired once and I cannot fire again because I've clicked 3 times and used all those shots essentially. It doesn't actually detect whether or not the bombs are recharged before it lets you trigger your next shot. So I don't like that. And I'm having a little bit of trouble mentally figuring out how I would negate that. So it looks like these have a 5-second cooldown. So how do I give my input a 5-second cooldown? I tried using the duration thing. It doesn't work that way. This is just how long, when you click it, how long it stays clicked. But if you give it another input, it still registers that input, which is the problem. I want it to not register the input during the 5-second cooldown. I might be able to use a loop of like accumulators, or like an accumulator. So this will remember when I've pressed something. So let's just go with 1 to 0 and 1. All right, so when I click, this is going to activate this accumulator. Then it's going to go into, this logic gate is going to have a 5-second delay. So this logic gate, essentially, I click the accumulator, it's going to wait 5 seconds, and then it turns on. Then when that logic gate turns on, it triggers this gate to send a negative output back to the accumulator, resetting it. So now when I click, the logic gate doesn't turn on until after 5 seconds, but then it immediately turns back off. So no, this isn't gonna work, is it? I don't know. I'm live thinking my way through a thing I've never made before. And as someone who's not, So like logic gates, there's a difference in my mind. There's like a really, really big learning curve difference between logic gates and then logic circuits. Because using a gate for its own use as like a one step to an output is pretty simple and easy to understand. But having a circuit of logic gates that interact with each other to create one function, that is what takes me so much. It takes me so much more to try to figure out. There's like a really big difference for me as someone who's doesn't have experience as a programmer to come up with logic gates on my own, or logic circuits on my own. Oh, I got it. So then we have a NOR gate. This NOR gate is our output, and we can only output when that is active. So now I can press it, and now you can see I can no longer output. Okay. I think I got it right here. So the accumulator detects my input. Actually, I think this one's pointless. All right, so here we go. The accumulator detects my input, and it sends the signal out to this AND gate, which is on a 5-second delay. And then that sends a negative output back to the accumulator, which resets the accumulator. This accumulator is also outputting to the NOR gate, which just inverts the signal. So essentially, this NOR gate paired with my actual trigger can go into an AND gate, and then that AND gate will only trigger every 5 seconds after pressing, I believe. So now this accumulator cannot have this as its own input. Instead, this AND gate has to go into another AND gate. So this is now going to be my output into the accumulator. So this goes into the accumulator, and it receives a signal from this AND gate, and it receives a signal from this OR gate. All right, so you can see 0 essentially means 3. This number is counting backwards. All right, so he clicked 1. Now I'm clicking multiple times. Nothing's happening. I'm just gonna keep clicking. Yes, number 2. I'm gonna keep clicking. I'm clicking. Yes. Now I can click as much as I want, and I can only fire. The click will only register an output if the bomb bays are recharged. I figured it out in the end. All right, now how do I fit all this in my vehicle? And I also I need this vehicle now as a reference so I don't have to rebuild this anytime I want to create ammo recharging. And keep in mind, this ammo recharging is very different than a projectile, like a gun. Because the gun isn't a one bullet at a time thing. Like this is, you click once and you use it and then it recharges. The guns, you have to hold it down, in which case you would have the accumulator not be on the steps mode, so it would be a very different kind of experience. All right, but I can fit all this stuff in here. We can just like put some stuff down here and then put this in here. All right, so now if I wanted this, there's one final thing here. I want to know how much ammo I have left. And this does tell me, but it tells me in an inverted way where it counts up to my final shot rather than counting down. So I feel like I'm gonna need another accumulator. All right, we're gonna need a handful more here. We're gonna need, so this accumulator is gonna be a scale of 1 or a scale of -1, and it's gonna go down to -3. Or no, we could just do that with the regular one. So this one counts up to 3. Maybe I should switch it back to -3. I just gotta make sure that this doesn't mess anything else up, because I know that this is gonna have to go to 3 to counteract that. This actually makes more sense though. All right, let me make sure this still works. No, it's not retaining the value. What did I need? What else did I need to change? Oh, minimum -3, scale -1. It's not doing the thing. I've already, like, now that I just made this one change where I want it to be in the negative and show red, I already forget the rest of my logic and how it hooks up to, I don't know where the problem is. Oh, I figured it out. All right, so now, yep, okay, we're good now. So there's 1, there's 2, and then there's 3. So I think this will constantly put out -3. So if I have this going into here, we have a -3. But if I do a math block, which just subtracts what the accumulator does from that, I think that's all I need. Or adds, depending if I want positive or negative. All right, so now we take this block, go into the arithmetic block, and we take the accumulator and go into the arithmetic block. And then this arithmetic block goes out to here. And let's just have it be add and see, start at -2. It should start at 3 because this is giving a constant of -3. And then we're adding Oh, this has a constant as well. So we don't want the constant in that. So now it's a -3. Okay. Well, actually, we want it to be positive. So let's do subtract. All right. So now it's a 3. So that tells me how many bombs I have left. I hope this works. Wait, 0. 1. No. Okay. So now it is just adding. Oh. Okay. Hold on. What am I not understanding? What it gives if it gives a constant of -3. Now it's at 0. -3. 2. It should show the 3. There's something weird going on. Maybe this shouldn't go into it, actually. It's just the accumulator is going to start at 0, and then it's going to go -1, -2, -3. So we want this to start at -3, right? Yeah, I think I just needed, I made it more complicated. So, yes, it still says -3. 2, 1, 0. So now I can't fire. Wait, no, why is it firing now? I didn't change anything else. What? Why is it constantly able to that's not fair. I didn't do anything else for the other logic stuff. Is this hooked into something else? No. What did I mess up? I like messed everything up now, and I have no idea how, like, where the problem is. I wish I could see what signals were being received by something. Like, what is going out to these bomb bays? I don't know. Not that. This is going out to the bomb bays. This is the AND gate. Now, what is going into this AND gate? The NOR gate and this. Somewhere along the line, something got switched up where now I can fire after the cooldown. So let me just try to see what's happening here. There's that. Can't fire. Oh, this threshold needs to change to -3, I think. All right, let's see if that was the problem. That was it. Okay. I just had to swap one of the positive numbers to a negative number. All right, so now I can no longer fire. It says I have 0 bombs left. So when I fly over the thing and recharge, it should tell me that I have 3 bombs left. All right, here we go. Just like that. 3. Okay, well, let me now change the actual output to invert so I don't look at the negative. I don't want to think I have -3 bombs. So this should just be add. And there we go. Yep, so now it is no longer a negative number. So I got 2 bombs left. I got 1 bomb left. And I got 0 bombs left. And then I can recharge. And if I didn't want to have a raw number, you can see the accumulator in the back there. That actually works as like a ammo meter. So you can see it's down to there. Then it's down to there. And then it goes down to 0 for empty. So I could have just used that as a meter if I didn't want to have a raw number of how many shots I have left. But I think I got everything exactly the way I wanted it now. So I recharge when I fly over the thing. I have 3 individual shots that I cannot accidentally overuse. So that is kind of an example of what is made possible. Well, not made possible, but made easier with the new logic blocks. Because like they've said, all the stuff that you're seeing was technically possible. It was just a lot more complicated. But now somebody like me, who is not an engineer, who doesn't know anything about logic other than what they've learned from things like Scrap Mechanic and Trailmakers, I was able to figure it out. So if I can figure it out, you can figure it out too. The problem is, I'd probably have to start over again with this if I didn't just have this template that I've now built. But even this template, I gotta relearn what's what and like paint things if I wanted to remember what values I need to change, if I want to change the ammo amount or the recharge amount. The recharge amount's pretty simple, I think. But I forget what I need to change for the ammo amount. Probably something with like here with the threshold and the accumulator. A couple of things have to go at the same time, I think. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy some more that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.